Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. The Polish investment bank BGK near Wiadomości has signed a contract concerning the creation of a model neighbourhood in Warsaw called Nowe. The project will be pursued as part of the Mieszkanie Plus social benefit programme. 2,700 apartments, as well as service points and recreation centres, will be built in the neighbourhood. The project is set to begin in spring next year.
This is one of the biggest investments we have proposed under the Mieszkanie Plus program, certainly the biggest one thus far. And it is also the first one in the Polish capital. Located in the Ursynów district, the neighborhood will contain not just blocks of flats, but all the necessary infrastructure as well. From the council standpoint, it is important for the city to develop in a sustainable manner. That is why I am delighted that the demands that we cared about were met. These included schools and culture centers. The concept of the Nowe Jeziorki neighborhood emerged in a contest. Two project groups were awarded the deal and will be designing the new neighborhood. It is a privilege for us to be a part of a program which undertakes real estate construction in a fresh way. The eventual aim is to build local communities and develop our country. The construction of the neighborhood will begin next spring. Its finalization is planned for 2023, with the total cost of the investment reaching 800 million zloty.
The Ministers of Foreign Affairs from Poland, Latvia and Lithuania, together with the Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine, have travelled to Georgia to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Georgia. The purpose of their joint visit is to draw attention to Russia's aggression in Central and Eastern Europe. The Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jacek Czaputowicz, delivered the following message during a commemoration ceremony. We, representatives of Poland, Ukraine, Latvia and Lithuania, have come to Georgia to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Russia's invasion of this country. We also come to express our support for Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity within the borders recognized by the international community. Following the Russian invasion, the late Polish President Lech Kaczyński took the initiative to travel to the Georgian capital Tbilisi together with the presidents of Ukraine, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. Their decision was considered risky as Russian tanks were closing in on the Georgian capital. On August 12, 2008, the presidents of the 5 countries met with their Georgian counterpart Mikhail Saakashvili in front of the Georgian parliament. They were joined by a crowd of 150,000 Georgians who wanted to draw the eyes of the world to the invasion of their country. We're here to express our unwavering solidarity with Georgia. Our neighbour has shown its true face, a face known to us for hundreds of years. This neighbour believes that bordering countries should be under its boot. We say no. That neighbour is Russia. The Polish president went on to accurately forecast that, if not checked, Russia would be tempted to invade Ukraine in the future. We know very well that today it is Georgia that's in danger, tomorrow it will be Ukraine, the day after that the Baltic states, and then it might be time for my country, Poland. 10 years after Kaczynski's speech in Tbilisi, Russia has annexed Crimea and is de facto occupying eastern Ukraine. Unfortunately, the European Union is as divided today on Russia as it was in 2008, a situation which only encourages further Russian aggressive actions in the region. The National Council of the Judiciary has stated that it is not the addressee of the suspension of application of the provisions of the Act of the Supreme Court. Furthermore, the National Council of the Judiciary does not intend to stop proceedings against 3 Supreme Court judges who've received negative opinions for requests to continue adjudication after the age of 65.
The National Council of the Judiciary will not comply with the court's decision last week, in which the court wanted the National Council to suspend the implementation of resolutions on negative opinions on the will to continue detaining the 3 judges of the Supreme Court who have attained 65 years. As indicated by the National Council of the Judiciary, this is impossible because the advice of the Council was sent to the President's office on July 13th before the Supreme Court's decision was issued.
13 lipca, a więc jeszcze przed wydaniem postanowienia Sądu Najwyższego.
Decyzja słuszna. Otóż ja stoję na stanowisku, że
This is the right decision. The questions that the judges asked the European Court of Justice cannot stop the activities of the national judiciary, the president and other state organs. This is, in my opinion, some kind of legal aberration. Therefore, negative opinions about the judges were passed on. I think the case is closed. It anarchizes the public life of the Supreme Court through its decision, through its information that appeared in the public space, that it suspends the application of specific provisions of the Act, which was adopted by the Sejm, Senate, President, and is in the legal circuit of the Republic. The Supreme Court cannot take the role of a legislative authority.
Jak przyznają politycy wszystkich ugrupowań politycznych, choć winą za taki stan rzeczy każda ze stron obarcza kogoś innego, mamy do czynienia.
As the politicians of all political parties admit, although each party blames someone else, there's a lot of confusion. Statements about legal anarchy are being made. It is not known how the Court of Justice of the European Union will be referred to. It may take up to several months, although the Supreme Court, in the application that was sent yesterday, asked for urgent attention to this matter. As the politicians of the Law and Justice Party point out, the Court of Justice of the European Union does not have the competence to deal with matters relating to the justice of the member states, as it's indicated by the British Protocol to the Treaty of Lisbon.
A ma na to wskazywać protokół brytyjski do traktatu lizbońskiego.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has stated that the European Parliament elections next year could bring about a shift towards Christian democracy for the European Union that will end the era of multiculturalism.
The Hungarian Prime Minister spoke in front of the Hungarian community living in Romania.
When Europe will decide on immigration, then of course they will also decide on what we call the European elite and whether the elite have handled immigration well. The European elite is visibly nervous. They are nervous because an unfavorable outcome in the European elections could halt their plan, which we just simply call the Soros plan, to transform Europe. Their big goal is to transform Europe, to ship it into a post-Christian era, and into an era where nations disappear. This process could be undermined in the European elections, and it is our primary interest to stop this transformation.
The National Conservative Prime Minister, who was re-elected in April to a third consecutive term, has spearheaded the resistance from Central Eastern European states to the European Commission's plan on forcing member states to take part in non-European migrants under a mandatory and permanent quota system. Along with Poland's conservative Law and Justice government, Orbán has been in constant conflict with the European Commission that is trying to meddle in internal Hungarian and Polish issues. Orbán is of the opinion that the Commission is controlled by the liberal elite with authoritarian tendencies that has been in power since the Cultural Revolution of 1968.
Let's say it without any doubts. Christian democracy is not liberal. Liberal democracy is liberal. Christian democracy is by definition not liberal. It is illiberal, if you like. We are facing a big moment. There is a chance next May to say goodbye not just to liberal democracy, the liberal non-democratic systems built on it, but also to the 1968 elite as well. If the 1968 elite will be forced to leave, then the only question is who will take their place. The modest answer is that we will.
The Hungarian Prime Minister is certainly right that the nationalist populist opponents to increasing the centralization of the EU have the wind in their sails. We will see after the European elections next spring whether it will be enough for them to gain significant influence in Brussels.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather, and then join me after that for Poland Daily Business.